Before we kick off with today's video, guys, our partners over at Football Prizes this week have got a Wolves Legends bundle up for grabs. This includes an Andy Gray signed classic Wolves shirt, a John Richards and Steve Wolves signed and framed montage, and 2 retro Wolves replica home shirts in a size of your choice. To get involved, guys, visit the link in the top of the description and grab your tickets before the draw ends on Wednesday night. Hello everybody and welcome back to Talking Wolves. Welcome back to a transfer news and update video. Today we're going to be talking about the latest transfer news, and of course the window is shut, so we'll have a roundup of the deadline day action, but there is still some transfer news to talk about with Wolves floating around the free agent window, which we'll talk about. As always, guys, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. Let me know out of 10 what you would rate the transfer business for Wolves. And of course, it was great for us to get off to finally get our first win of the Premier League season on Saturday as well, and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. But it was big news that dropped yesterday for, well, both bad and I suppose good in some senses as well. The bad news was that new signing Sasha Kalajdzic picked up an injury in the game against Southampton on Saturday. It looks like an ACL injury. Looks like he could be out for some time, and we almost thought Wolves were back to square one, weren't we? We were talking about maybe Wolves going into the free agent window, and then a big news bomb dropped really yesterday afternoon. It was broken by David Ornstein of The Athletic that Wolves were looking into the possibility of signing Diego Costa on a free transfer. Now, this has gone pretty serious, and it looks like it's going to be happening. Initially, it was thought that Diego Costa was going to be flying into Wolverhampton and having almost a trial on Tuesday to see how he gets on. But it's now believed that Diego Costa will be travelling to England on Tuesday to have a medical check, to check his fitness, and sign a contract at Wolverhampton Wanderers. Now, this is a real surprise because of course, we've seen Diego Costa plenty of times before in the Premier League. He's a serial winner, really. He's won many trophies before, and both at Chelsea, Atletico Madrid, who he went on to join as well. Most recently, playing in Brazil for Atletico Mineiro, but he left there in January and not actually had a club or played for anyone since then. So, of course, match fitness and match sharpness is going to be a huge question mark, but a really intriguing signing this by Wolves. It said that any contract will be until the end of the season, which you would expect, but things don't look good for Sasha Kalajdzic. We may not see him again for a long, long time. Raul Jimenez seems to be sort of out of sorts at the moment, so somebody like this is going to be a really interesting signing for Wolves, and it had to be done. So let me know your thoughts on this one. I'm still not 100% sure what to think about the signing. Of course, a lot of people liking him. He's got a nasty side, which we all know. People want that in the Wolves team, almost thinking we're too nice as a club. But is he past it as a player? I just don't know. I'm really intrigued to see how he will get on back in England, back in the Premier League, and in a team that needs goals. His link-up play as a forward is actually really, really good. It's the physical side of the things that I'm concerned about for Diego Costa, but let's wait and see. In the next day or so, we should have some more news on this, and I'm really intrigued to see how he gets on. Staying with the free agents right now, Bruno Lage spoke a little bit about Jason Denayer, the Belgian international. Most recently at Lyon. Wolves, of course, needing a centre-back as well. That sort of held back some of our process and progress on transfer deadline day regarding a centre-back. Now, the latest we know on Jason Denayer is that Wolves have offered him a deal. It's a 3-year deal, and Wolves have given him terms that the player isn't 100% happy with. Wolves aren't really willing to budge on their contract demands, or the demands that they gave to Jason Denayer, but he wants, by the sounds of it, a little bit more money. So at the moment, nothing happening on that front. Bruno Lage spoke about Jason Denayer on Friday in his pre-match press conference for the Southampton game and didn't deny interest in him. So I think there's definitely a possibility this could still happen, but there needs to be some sort of movement between Wolves and Jason Denayer before it becomes a done deal. Because of, Denayer is becoming the number one priority for a centre-back now because the Craig Dawson deal on deadline day didn't come to fruition. The main part of this was because Wolves were sort of relying on other teams and almost a domino effect to get this deal over the line. West Ham were happy to let Craig Dawson go if they could get a replacement. That replacement was going to be Jan Bednarek from Southampton, but Aston Villa went on to sign Jan Bednarek, which means West Ham didn't have an option to replace Craig Dawson, which means the deal didn't come to fruition. With us, if we signed Craig Dawson, Wolves were willing to let Gerson Mosquera go out on loan as well. There were teams in France that were interested in signing him, and of course, we couldn't go through with that deal either, which is a shame because it's almost holding back somebody else's progress. But as it stands, Gerson Mosquera is still at the club. Wolves did get another signing over the line on deadline day. Of course, we saw Boubacar Traoré come in, which we've already done a video on. We've done videos on all our new signings, so if you want to find out about some of the new players that we've got at Wolves, be sure to check those out. But a new one was Alfie Pond. This came very late in the window. It was actually not announced until Friday morning. We signed the Alfie Pond, the 18-year-old, I believe, from Exeter City. Very tall centre-back. I've spoken to some people and that I know within football that watch a lot of, the 21s level and say he's a really exciting prospect, and Wolves have got a really good signing on their hands here. So we may well see him for the 21s over the next few weeks, and we'll see how he gets on. He was actually out on loan in non-league and started off quite well, I believe, at Yeovil. And that was his loan was cancelled there and joined Wolves. So we'll see how he gets on there. Dario Osorio as well, a winger from Chile who we were linked with quite heavily throughout all of the summer window. A lot of people have been asking about this one. Wolves didn't get a deal over the line for him. One of the interesting things about this deal was that Wolves would have had to wait until the end of the South American season, which would have been in October. So Osorio wouldn't have been able to join till January anyway. So Universidad de Chile have kept hold of him for now. They even put a club statement out on deadline day saying that the club will not finalise the sale of any more players as well. So at the moment, Osorio is not going to be joining Wolves, but who knows, come January, the club may well revisit that option. One of the big deals was Leander Dendoncker. He left to join Midland rivals Aston Villa. This one came as a bit of a shock. It was, Wednesday evening, he was linked with a move away. I think West Ham and Villa were two of the teams that were linked with him. Bruno Lage said in his post-match press conference after the Bournemouth game that he didn't want to sell Dendoncker. He didn't want to sell Hwang Hee-chan as well. But in the end, Dendoncker did go. Who knows if he's going to get more first-team football. He was sort of third, fourth choice at Wolves. He's probably going to be the same at Aston Villa, to be honest. But a player on paper entering the last year of his contract, although Wolves did have an option to extend that if they wanted to, but pretty much got our money back for Leander Dendoncker. And a player that got a lot of stick, but I think, you know what, he did okay at Wolves at the end. He did a job at the club, and he's always happy to be a squad player. Never made much fuss. And obviously, he's now moved on. Another player that left the club was Christian Marquez, the under-21s captain. He left and joined League One club Forest Green Rovers on loan. I think that's another good level for him to be playing at if he can get lots of regular football this season. I just mentioned Hwang Hee-chan. It said that Wolves had rejected a bid from Leeds United for Hwang around a couple of days before deadline day, worth around £17 million. That would have meant that Wolves made a profit on Hwang. However, the payment structure was not to Wolves' liking, so it sounds like a lot of that money would not have been paid up front, and that obviously meant that Wolves weren't too happy with that deal. Willy Boly was another player that left Wolves. He ended up joining Nottingham Forest. We knew that one was going to be coming. It was almost just waiting for official confirmation. In the end, that went through on deadline day. And Hugo Bueno, the young left back for Wolves, playing in the under-21s. We saw plenty of him during pre-season as well with the first team. It said that Wolves had rejected a loan deal from Spanish club Getafe for him. Again, another good level side. Would have been going back to Spain, where he's originally from, but Wolves turned down that deal. So lots of news, a bit of a roundup of deadline day in the late transfers, but Diego Costa could be the newest signing for Wolverhampton Wanderers. We could see it become official in the next couple of days or so. Be interesting to see if we see him in the squad at Anfield on Saturday. A team there he caused so much problems probably about 10 years ago now. So it'd be great to see him back in the Premier League. And who would have thought it? If somebody told me this a year, well, I don't know, that we'd be signing Diego Costa, I would have thought you were crazy, but who knows? Could be an interesting signing. Guys, as always, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new, and I'll see you all very, very soon.